Would there be a better day to take out a bright yellow Custard Missile? The MGZR Insect Attracting Missile.
Come on, you... Stop right in front of me, why don't you? For a start, it's reasonably important I just take this car out, because I'll show you how far my customer got the other day before he sent me a message and said it's broke down on him. This far. Did I ever talk about what the MGZR is like to drive? Might have done a little bit, probably not very much. And as I'm taking a little trip out today, I thought it's probably a good opportunity to really give it my appraisal, so to speak. Compared to the 25, it is much more, it does feel quite a bit more focused. It's a lot more, I keep finding things rattling around it, it's annoying me. It's much more focused, it's much more planted, it's much more jiggly, it's much more likely just to go around the bend like that without anything unusual happening. What about its performance though? Is it any better than, say, the 25? Yeah, a little bit. These kind of twisty B roads like this is where it makes much more sense, because it just really clings on. It feels very very sporty indeed, especially with the seats hooking you like this. When it's got 14-inch steel wheels on it and it's still clinging on for dear life, it does impress actually. You can definitely push it down roads like this, and we've got a curve coming here, and I don't really even need to slow down to know I can get around it okay. The 1.4K series in this feels a bit edgier than it does in the 25. The car feels lighter and feels so much more nimble. It's fantastic for stuff like this actually. When I was driving this before, I ended up getting a bit bored with it, going back to my Rover 45, because the Rover suits me for most purposes. But just like the ZS, when it comes to these twisty B roads, these are pretty amazing. They're not just a Rover in a tracksuit. There's so much more that you can really feel the difference in the steering and the suspension, and just basically the way it wants to fling you around those bends. It is honestly quite a lot of fun. But there is the problem, the compromise. It's not got the class of a Rover, but it's got some driving characteristics that really are fantastic. When can you get to use them? Because for me, I drive to school and to work and to the shops, and really that is pretty much all there is to it. So the only time I can really enjoy some sort of thing like this would be on a drive out like this. And that just doesn't happen very often. Driving for pleasure, something that doesn't really happen a great deal. I do go out for drives with the family from time to time, but they don't really want to do this kind of drive where they're being flung around bends everywhere. I know, because I've tried it and they said they don't like it. So I've got to drive sensibly instead. So I've got to drive sensibly to school and then to work, because it's not really very interesting. Take the family out, sensible drive. This is not worth me having an MG for that one reason. If I was a single man, I'd probably prefer the MG. A single man without any family. That's what I'd have, this yellow one. I mean, this is bad enough. Imagine trying to pick up women in this. But Nigel, imagine going out doing the patrol around the streets looking for a woman in that. That really would be quite something, wouldn't it? Bye-bye. And now time to drive the ZR in a traffic jam to see whether all this handling and grip and stuff actually is any good when you're sat stationary. And I must say I'm impressed. I must admit the ZR handles exceptionally well when it's sat in traffic. Well, time to carry on, I think. I don't know why I didn't do this kind of drive in this car before, when I was using it as my everyday car, because it's an absolute delight to drive in these circumstances, especially when it's sunny and the lovely blue sky contrasts against the happy yellow, bombing it down hills and round corners ever so slightly too quickly. It all adds up to a rather fun time. Yes, it makes me think how cool it would have been originally to have had something like the ZR as Nigel, because you've got a bit more involvement in the actual driving experience. But of course the 25 is so much more of a humble car. The ZR is a humble car that's been given a certificate. Yeah, the ZR is basically a Rover 25 with a city and guilds in engineering. Anyway, the purpose of my trip, this. One head gasket kit. The last word on the Custard Missile. I've just signed it into my name, not because I want it, but because I hadn't signed it into my name for whatever reason. But what I did do is use the new Keeper supplement to tax it. And then I thought, well, when I sell it, I won't be able to have the new person taxed. And I just realised that today. So I thought best just put it in my name quickly, so that I had the V5 ready for when somebody comes along to collect it. That also means that now it won't show up as taxed. So I've kind of shot myself in the foot, really, with a weapon that isn't even mine.